Commercial passenger plane cruising peacefully above the clouds suddenly shudders violently. Warning lights flashing red across the cockpit while alarms scream through the cabin. And within seconds, passengers realize something is terribly wrong as the aircraft begins a rapid, uncontrollable descent toward a vast, uncharted jungle, stretching endlessly below, a green abyss that promises no mercy. Screams fill the cabin as oxygen masks. Drop luggage flies loose and flight attendants struggle to maintain order, while fear takes over every face. Some people praying, others crying, gripping their seats as the engines fail and the nose of the plane dips sharply. As the aircraft plunges lower, the story briefly slows to introduce the flight itself, a routine journey carrying ordinary people from different walks of life, families returning home, business travelers, students, and crew members who have flown this route many times, never imagining that beneath them lies one of the most dangerous jungles on Earth. A place known for deadly predators, venomous creatures, and total isolation where survival is never guaranteed. The jungle below is ancient and unforgiving, thick with towering trees, tangled vines, swamps, and unseen life. A place where rescue teams rarely reach quickly and where nature rules without mercy. The descent becomes unstoppable and the moment of impact arrives with a deafening roar as the plane tears through the canopy, snapping massive trees like matchsticks, metal screaming as the fuselage breaks apart. Flames erupting as sections of the aircraft scatter across the forest floor. When the chaos finally settles, silence falls, broken only by crackling fire, distant animal cries, and the groans of the injured as survivors slowly regain consciousness amid smoke, wreckage, and shattered bodies. Some passengers are trapped in twisted metal. Others stumble out bleeding and disoriented, struggling to breathe as the humid jungle air presses in, realizing they are alive, but surrounded by devastation. Hours pass in confusion as survivors gather what little they can from the wreckage, scavenging for water bottles, first aid kits, food, and anything that might help them survive while tending to the wounded using torn clothing and makeshift bandages, the reality of their situation sinking in with every passing minute. The jungle begins to make itself known. Strange echoes, rustling leaves, distant hisses, and movements just beyond sight, creating a constant sense of being watched. Thick fog rolls in as the sun lowers, and it is then that the true horror reveals itself when the first snake is spotted near the wreckage. Long, thick, and silent, its scales blending perfectly with the forest floor. Panic spreads as more snakes appear, some small and fast, others massive and slow, coiling through the debris, thrown by heat movement and blood, attacking injured passengers who cannot escape. Screams erupt as venomous fangs strike, and chaos forces the survivors to flee deeper into the jungle, abandoning the relative safety of the crash site in desperate hope of survival. As they move through the dense forest, exhaustion takes hold, injuries worsen, and fear begins to fracture the group. Arguments breaking out over leadership, direction, and dwindling supplies, while the jungle closes in tighter with every step. Nightfall transforms the jungle into a living nightmare, as darkness swallows visibility and the sounds of snakes slithering through leaves grow louder, attacks becoming sudden and brutal from the shadows, leaving no time to react. Survivors light fires using plane debris and soaked clothing, using flames to keep snakes at bay, while others fashion crude weapons from broken metal and branches, knowing that one mistake means death. One by one, people are lost to the jungle, dragged away into darkness, or struck down by venom, their screams echoing briefly before being swallowed by the night. Fear hardens into desperation as the remaining survivors cling to each other, pushing forward through terror and pain, refusing to give up even as hope fades. The tension reaches its peak when a massive snake, larger than anything they have seen, emerges from the darkness, its body thick as a tree trunk, eyes reflecting firelight as it launches a final, deadly assault on the group. A brutal struggle follows as survivors fight back with everything they have: fire, blades, and sheer willpower, some sacrificing themselves so others can escape, courage and terror colliding in a desperate battle for life. When the night finally ends and dawn breaks over the jungle, golden light reveals the aftermath: broken bodies, burned earth, and a handful of survivors standing shaken and wounded, faces marked by trauma and loss. Smoke rises from the distant wreckage as birds circle overhead, and far away, faint sounds hint at possible rescue. A helicopter, a signal flare, or human voices, offering a fragile thread of hope. The story closes on the survivors staring out over the jungle, knowing they have endured something unimaginable, realizing that the plane crash was only the beginning and that the true enemy was the jungle itself, a place where nature showed no mercy and survival came at a terrible cost.